Jolie's uncle. Jolie's uncle. I'm in question of where he is. And today, Jolie's uncle, seeming it was stated that he was another individual part of the situation and yet nobody sees him. Before I got on this camera, I in fact had to shoot a hater up off the flow. I did. I had to shoot a hater completely up off the flow. That's not a joke and yet it is, right? I'm saying. Like, subscribe in the Discovery channel. Yes, the Discovery channel. The link is in fact provided below, which is where I stand. But yeah, once again, I had to shoot a hater completely up off the flow. That's for those that want me to speak all professional, and yet that's completely not me. So it helps to be yourself, as in fall in line, and yes, fall in line with a guide on top of that, as in when you choose to be all hours of the day, right? That's not gonna work, because see, what I notice about some of the most professional acting individuals that get on camera or even behind the scenes, working in certain places, corporations and all the rest, is to say, yes, those individuals can in fact be professional, but consider how much they cheat on their husbands and wives. Cheating on their husbands and wives. Let me not go much more further than that. But yes, shouts out to Discovery. But I had to shoot a hater up off the flow. There ain't no pleasantry in that either. But anyway, so Jolie's uncle, I'm in question of where is he pertaining to his identity. Where is the man that today in 2018? Because see, even that is questionable, and it should be pertaining to, say, if an individual don't want their face to meet the light of day. So such as a JHOLIE MOUSSA, who has an uncle who was around that was supposedly babysitting the two 16-year-old individuals, right? I'm sensing the JHOLIE's uncle could have possibly been more than likely the father's brother, and maybe not the mother's. I'm guessing. Or maybe the other way around. I don't know, but I just wonder where he is, because the reason why I'm bringing him up is because other individuals outside of myself have questioned where he is and what is his identity and what role could he have played, say, pertaining to the disappearance of JHOLIE, if he could have did anything or had something to do with that, right? I'm thinking sometimes some individuals in life, when these sort of things happen in the way that they have happened, because I'm sure he's possibly an older adult grown man, much more older than you and I, right? JHOLIE's uncle. And so sometimes individuals have a tendency to pull back out of certain situations as it's happening, and not only that, once live coverage and all the rest meet your eyes and all that. Some people don't want their identity out there with those sort of situations, especially when it's something like a niece or something. I think that sort of thing has to be called out. To be a part of a situation and have it become too messy, is to say, what part of role situation did you play in the mess, dear uncle? But not only that, would you want to not be in any of that pertaining to even the grieving itself, as in you're being an uncle and say possibly sitting amongst a family knowing that you gotta help in burying a child, not by ways of money, but even with that, right? Because I'm sure the mother, father, which one of them, I'm thinking they possibly had a good job, or maybe even if not, right? But pertaining to that sort of situation, some people, they don't like their face on TV. They don't even like their face to meet a screen, because they don't know what follows behind that. Remember, for me to say that, because see, the family looks suspicious to begin with by outsiders, right? They in fact look suspicious, but oh, what up to Medea? That's my dog. It is. Medea wear 2 chains and all the rest, and I don't mean a rapper, right? But yeah, pertaining to the mess that which has occurred and still stands still, yes, with JHOLIE's case, right, as it being unsolved. Sometimes family members, they don't want to be seen by the public all in that, because they don't know. Some people, yeah, do get paranoid. Some people, you don't know what that. I'm sensing that uncle don't want his identity fully out there floating in mass media and all the rest, because see, to have somebody go dying in the first place and say you're an uncle of the child is to say you might or might not have been around the child since they were little, as in that hold them and all the rest. Some uncles in fact have changed the pampers and all that of their niece and stuff like that, and that's a hurtful thing to get the news after someone goes missing that they're now found dead in the woods. Some people can't handle that. I'm sure the mother more than likely couldn't, but she holds herself up very well. Yes, she does. Cyrita, she in fact holds herself very well in the maintenance of when she get on camera with the footage and all that, right? She's able to detach somewhat, knowing that's still her baby even in death, right? With the grieving process set on top. And yet the uncle, you don't know his mindset in that, right? You don't know what somebody's mindset is and them being able to handle that, because you know later on that the child has to be laid to rest. Now you got news crew. Once you done talk to one news crew, now everybody else want to follow and get a piece of your world, and you possibly have a job with that, right? He possibly have his own family members with that. He more than likely don't want to drag, if he's married or he has kids and even little kids, he possibly don't want to drag his family, that side of his family, into that. Some people they don't want that. They don't, because to have one news crew come and connect with you is to have some people following you to your house and all that other stuff, right? That's not to say they're going to try to make their way into your house, and yet you just don't know. And then to have internet the way that we do, and how people go out questioning, despite them not working with a Discovery or working with a news crew, they would in fact possibly want to get in somebody's house, such as an uncle of JHOLIE, to get the question in him and all this other stuff. There's just some people, they can't take all that. Like it's bothersome, because especially to have people walking up to them that they don't know, random individuals. Oh, that's me. I said that in my last video. That's in fact me, right? For people that want to know what I look like up under these shades, right? But yeah, that's not, because I have to ask myself. See, not everybody, because see, if everybody was able to sit on live on a camera, live stream, live newscast, live whatever, right? Journalism involved. If everybody was able to do that sort of thing, as in be interviewed, then you would have all type of random people all over the TV screen and coverage. And yet they're not there. They're nowhere to be found, which is to say that there could be uncomfortable feeling in that, even JHOLIE's uncle. Some people in fact get timid by that sort of thing, knowing that a camera is on them and knowing they gotta say, either watch what they say, being a family of a loved one, knowing that you already look suspect to begin with, right? Some people, they can't handle that, so they just leave that alone. And you never even know. You never even know, because see, in the decision of even who can be on a TV screen to begin with, pertaining to JHOLIE's case, that's the mother and father doing. That's in fact the mother and father doing, as in them being able to tell what family members or even what friends need to be interviewed. You don't never know who they might have checked behind the scenes, as in told them, no, we don't want you, because that's their child. So they have the complete say so, as in the coverage. Even if some media example wanted to go out and interview JHOLIE's friends, okay, they might be somewhat detached from the case, but at the same time, or even the uncle, or even JHOLIE's aunt or whoever, them individuals are in fact related to the case, and yet they're not, because the mother has more say than anything, just as much as the father does. That woman right there. That's my new wife. Don't run and tell on that. People can't take a joke in life. I am in fact attracted to the child's mother. I can't help that. But pertaining to the joking and all that, people can't. They live too serious. Hell, sometimes, and I say that sometimes I live too serious, and yet I crack jokes sometimes even when I'm not even thinking about it. Even with Discovery sitting right there, if they can't take a joke, tell them. If Discovery can't take a joke, tell them be gone. There's no bewitching that. As in what I like to say on the camera, I'm not changing anything. I ain't taking nothing down. I'll fuck off on that. I ain't getting too professional, none of that, because that's not my drive in life. My drive right here is to teach other individuals how to be themselves and be it wholeheartedly and completely. And possibly piss some people off up under the layer aspect of ID with that, right? I ain't changing shit. So suck off on even that, right? I'm not changing anything. There's no dryness in that. As in, some of this stuff, in fact, needs an uplift. Shouts out to Medea once again. She stands up above. Some of this stuff needs, in fact, an uplift. As in, where things could get too dry and sullen in death. You need something, because to be sitting up here trying to provide life to even Jolie is to say, crack a joke, something or something sometime today, despite her being dead. Some might feel, well, that's a disrespect to the dead. Well, hell, some of y'all, in fact, dead looking at me. So what's the difference? That's not a joke. That's real. There's, in fact, slaves out there watching me. They just don't know that they're slaves to the grave as they're watching me. I'm saying wake up and wake all the way up, right? I crack jokes sometimes. Some people can get with them and other people can't. Whatever. Because either way, we can't escape real life or death either way. So what sits in the middle? But yet, pertaining to this uncle, I'm just guessing there's a privacy thing. Because see, to have control of an image of an image such as what you release, even being family members of a deceased loved ones, is to once again, who do you want on the coverage and who do you don't? You got what I'm saying? Because see, a mother and father would more likely have to dictate even that uncle's thoughts pertaining to what needs to be said out of his mouth pertaining to their child. That's too much. That sort of thing should just be left alone, and it left alone, and it is by the uncle, as in him not being seen. Because you don't know how old his children are, and not only that, you don't know who would in fact try to harass his kids, and even that sort of thing has taken place. As in, when a family looked very suspicious, some child has died, and then the parents look suspicious, and then now some other family member has came out and spoke about the situation, and now they're harassed and possibly bullied half to death, even in that, right? So you don't know if the uncle has children and if they're small. And then him not wanting to, have even possibly his wife or girlfriend tied up in that either, because that'll start messing up the whole household, and then before you know it, you got a divorce on your hands, as in on the way, a divorce. To have an uncle coming in too close on the footage of the coverage of sometimes being married into the family. Say if the uncle has a wife or a girlfriend or whatever, sometimes that other half of that uncle may or may not be able to handle that sort of thing. That's how people become separated. Because what family secrets in this, Jolie's family in fact holds secrets. Hell, what family don't, right? And yet to get an uncle too involved is to say sometimes it helps to keep some of those secrets spoken behind the scene, as in not meeting the public's eyes through Peggy Fox, the journalist, WSA9 News, and all the rest, right? Because that even if they were secrets away from the public, and say those secrets be told to police or FBI by the family, then you in fact may want to leave that sort of thing there, because I can sense even the uncle more than likely had nothing to do with that. I can sense that. The only way I can sense that an uncle would play a part in this, even intimate, is if the uncle, say, was babysitting the girl, and even the father, and say that ex, because see, sometimes ex-lovers sometimes don't just beat on their girlfriend. Sometimes they bring their other friends in the situation as well as they're doing it. There's been sometimes lovers that have in fact gotten fights and all that other stuff, and guys beating on girls, and they allowing their friend to do that sort of thing. As in being a guy having a girlfriend, him becoming verbally abusive towards his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend, and then him allowing his other friend or possibly many friends get involved on that, as in disrespect her, put their hands on her, or possibly even rape her half to death. There's guys that do stuff like that. So when it comes to the uncle, I'm thinking maybe his position might have been, if he was to team up with Jolie's father, yes, to put their hands on that ex-boyfriend. I know I would, and I said I would have killed him. Somebody tried to check me the other day talking about don't say this because you know you can in fact go to jail, as in threatening people to death. I'm supposed to fear that? I'm really supposed to get on this camera and fear going to jail? You cannot be serious. I ain't never feared. I had since you can ask my grandmother, you can ask my mother. My father's in the grave, but if you wanted to, you can possibly beat on his casket up underneath the grave and ask, yes, him. I got jokes for even my own daddy, as in who I never been fearful of. There's been police officers I have in fact in person threatened, and in fact ripped up tickets in their face. That shows I live without fear. Because see, look. You can't go anywhere and do anything if you live 24 hours a day in fear, or even the law aspect, or say, I'm saying on my end of what I'm going to say out of my mouth. This individual, they're in fact, yes, connected to the law as well. Connected to the law as well when they said, well, you know, you don't want to be saying and threatening people because you might go to jail. And what I told them, well, the jail, when it comes to that sort of thing, the judge would in fact be sitting side by side with me in that jail cell. And we would in fact have a full-blown conversation, not only why I'm there, but the reason why I talk the way that I talk. And possibly even say why I have no fear, because see, that ain't never going to work. I don't fear nothing. If there's a God or a universe that controls this atmosphere, let that God or that universe deal with me. And not be sending me to no judge. Because I don't fear that. I don't fear any of that. I don't fear any of that. I have loved ones that have in fact died in jail. So what does that tell you about my mindset? A parent, to be exact, has died in jail. I don't fear no jail cells. So come again, try again on even that one. Checking me with my delivery of not trying to send me off to somebody's jail after my dad has died in jail. Girl, bye on even that. I don't fear none of that. I don't fear the law. I don't fear a crooked system. I don't fear no jail. I don't fear any of that. I say anything I'm gonna say any time of day, and when I get to the judge, I will school even him, because I have schooled one before. A judge, I'm saying. There's no life process, and even that, as in what I'm going to say and not say. Because when I said about God and the universe, because some people, they in fact fear man. Did I say that in one of my other videos? Some people in fact fear man, then they fear God and the universe, or one and the same, or whatever you like to call it. I don't fear either, or I don't fear God. I don't fear Satan. I surely don't fear the universe, and I don't fear a judge or a jail cell that could await me. I don't fear none of that. You're gonna fear what? You're gonna fear man than God or the universe? You gotta be kidding me. So if I don't fear God or the universe or a jail cell and a judge, but God, I don't fear God. I don't fear any of that. I don't fear man. I don't fear nothing. I fear nothing. That don't make sense. Which is why I can be reckless all time of the day, more so even with my mouth. And how I serve people in the community and telling them where to go jump. Dear bitch, die off a bridge type of stuff. That's how I do individuals. That's how I'm gonna always do them. And if that sends me to jail, oh well. Because that's a fake fuck couldn't even, yes, that's in fact say a fake fuck couldn't even face that sort of thing, as in where they need to go. Serial killers, they need to be killed, as in put to death brutally. I say all that. I don't care. When I got on Reddit and I told all them, because see, the individuals on Reddit was acting all racist towards me, and I said I'll put all y'all in the grave. Just so you know, I put all y'all in the grave. But looking at the situation, seeming all y'all anonymous anyways behind the screen, it's to say y'all dead in the grave anyway. Y'all just don't know it. Dear bitch. All of them. Right? I'm just real specific and precise and to the point and to the cut. There's no drafting process in that. As in what you need to edit out. Hell no. Don't like the way that I talk, move away, get away. But going back to this uncle, that is off the hook with him, because see, I just sense that he don't want his face on the camera. So to allow that is to be respectful in the family, as in not forcing him on the camera, because you don't know, some people don't even know how to take death. As in when they're being an uncle to somebody, I already said about the pampering, how some uncles in fact change their nieces and nephews' diapers, right, growing up, or whatever, the child growing up, and then they wake up one day and then it comes to awareness of the family that Jolie has been found in some woods under some leaves or something. That uncle might not have been able to process that in his thoughts, despite him being a grown man, because you don't know how much he was caring for the girl to begin with. Remember, he was watching after them, despite them being 16 years old. He was watching them. And more than likely because abuse and all the rest pertaining to Jolie's ex-boyfriend. So I think for the uncle, we just leave him alone. Because in the beginning, I was like, well, where he at? He ain't showing too much. The uncle ain't showing too much. And when you don't show, that looks suspicious all the time and all the way around. Yeah. Because, see, you don't know. That is so crazy. Every time I see her face, Jolie's, I'm saying, she was fine herself. And yet I'm a little bit too old, yes, for that sort of thing. That would have been something I would have went to jail for. Looking at her being a cute, adorable, yes, looking like her mama and her other twin. She's too young for me. I'm almost 40 years old. Didn't I say that? And the way I talk on this camera, it sounds like, when I talk on the camera, I sound like a full-blown, full-fledged man. A man. Which is why I don't fit in with none of these prissy girls. And possibly never will. Could be why I'm with Discovery. Who knows, right? Yeah, so what else did I say? I think that's all to be said about the uncle. It is. That's not gonna, that ain't gonna work, because see, if a family is already intact, if a family is already intact, such as the Moussa family, right? I know the mother's last name is Stewart, and yet I always say Moussa pertaining to all of them. I say Moussa when I said, yeah, Miss Moussa, I'm just putting, I know what the woman's last name is. I'm just putting still their Moussa, because remember, Jolie's last name was Moussa. So to keep everything intact is to keep it just as it is, right? The family, despite them having different last names and all the rest, right? And so even with the family members and them grieving, that's to say that a family could still be intact. Or maybe it's not, pertaining to the uncle. Nobody knows the situation of that. Because see, to be an uncle and be babysitting some 16-year-olds, right, is to know that there was more up underneath that isn't the reason why he could have been babysitting them to begin with, them being 16 years old. Usually 16-year-olds don't have babysitters, right? That's to say more could have been there, such as the abuse, and I'm repeating again, right, and I should, for those that didn't catch it the first time. Sometimes I repeat multiple times because some people, they drift off to sleep, or they're looking at other stuff and they don't catch, so you gotta repeat it again, right? I'm known to repeat millions of times, let me tell you. And so in that, it's to say, how close is the family even in today? The uncle with the family, the mom and the dad, how close is he, knowing that he played a part in the babysitting aspect, right? Could they have kicked him out of their world? Because see, an uncle could have been at the house, got up or something, and left the house. We don't know whether the uncle was staying in the house to babysit them, or if he was at his own house somewhere, residential somewhere, and then coming back and forth to check on the girls or whatnot. We don't really know the situation and how the family is still could be intact with that, or maybe not. You don't know, because some people have a situation where there's somebody that's a guardian, and say the guardian is not keeping up properly with that young child or whatever the way that they're supposed to, and then the parent get pissed off in that. And so that wouldn't, I mean, angry. Some parents get livid. I thought I told you to watch her. I thought I told you to watch him, and yet where were you when this stuff was going down, and now she's missing and all this other stuff. Some parents get very livid in that, and sometimes a fight will break out, a fist fight, which is why too, from the beginning, I was looking at the father's eye. I look at the father's eye in multiple ways. Put my new wife up there at the top. That's my new wife. I'm possessing ownership over her right now because she's so cute. She is. Cyrita. Yeah. So it was to say, because she had popped the daddy in the eye. The mother popped the daddy in the eye. Is funny, and yet it's not right, because mothers and fathers are prone to get in fights when, yes, certain situations happen, such as a child going missing. But it's funny as in how a mother would get mad, because women, it's so funny how women, they go off on a tangent and will just pop you upside the head. You don't know it's coming, right? Such as a mother popping the father of a child, or a wife, yes, popping her husband, right? That sort of thing is funny to see. It is. That's in fact, it's not funny, but it is. The way that these women who put their hands on their man, like, or ex-man or whatever. I thought I told you to keep up with her, or I thought whatever, right? And so when I was looking at the father's eye, I said maybe the mother popped him in the eye. Maybe she did that, right? Or maybe the father and the uncle got in a fist fight, a tussle, because the uncle was supposed to be there, supposedly babysitting the girls. And then this situation, you know what I'm saying, the whole missing aspect, where stuff points together somewhat directly but indirectly. And you're saying, why was the father's eye scar there? I felt that it was because of the ex-boyfriend, something with that, in which if the father had something to do, yes, with putting his hands on the ex-boyfriend or something like that, that in fact needed to happen. That ex-boyfriend, if he killed JHOLIE, he needs to in fact be killed the fuck off, time and time again. All serial killers do, right? And so that's not to call him that, but I said what I said. Put him to death, dear daddy. Yeah, I said that. That's in fact the father's role, to step up to the plate and not just be letting some random lunatic dumb fuck put his hands on your child. That's a no-go. That's complete no-go. Because that's an origin, as in where a child comes from. The father. That ain't gonna work. Dear ex, you need to see this. I said that. That is not gonna work. You being a daddy of a little girl, 16, that's still little somewhat. That's little up under me. This beautiful face getting all knocked out. Whether JHOLIE wanted to be around him or not. Because see, some girls in fact have an ex that abuse them and they go back, right, time and time again. But still, there should be no abuse in that, right? The father need to have to go all the way in. And after you do it and you cover up whatever, call Lieutenant Joe Kenda on that. As in to help him to have, yes, Lieutenant Joe Kenda, dear daddy, have him solve and resolve. Even if the ex, I said that, even if the ex had nothing to do with it, he needs to be killed. Many of these, the longer I sit on this camera, I should start calling out everybody that in fact needs to die. Die. There ain't no positivity in that, as in what I like to say, because to face real life is to say, see, some people in fact hide behind positivity so long in life that they can't face real life. As in, things change, the changing with the times, the seasons come and go, and how you outgrow individuals in the process, right? Some people get to the point in life they try to shimmer up stuff. Even some of Oprah Winfrey followers are like that. I've seen it myself. Many Oprah Winfrey followers, Oprah is bold herself, as in the stuff she don't say, right? I said that how many times on camera, right? But when it comes to sometimes Oprah followers, they can't face real life. They go hide behind shimmery stuff, such as behind the makeup and the clothes MAC, and I don't mean a MAC 10, right? Put to your face and all this other. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying when they hide behind all this positivity in the form of when real life come through, as in swoop in on you. Because that's to say that real life is going to come in to the atmosphere some time of the day, despite you wanting it to be there or not. And you can't always cover it up and dress it up with positivity. Because see, like an individual like myself, the way I speak on camera, I can in fact be taken in the red. As in code red, sounding like an emergency with my mouth, a train flying through and possibly a bus crashing and you don't know. As I'm sitting here, the way that I talk and I speak come across to people as being negative. And yet I don't feel nothing. That's what's so funny. I'm a detached individual, because for me to sit and talk about people such as a JHOLIE and their dead body and go in on some maggots like I did in the cremation video, that last video I made pertaining to the cremation of JHOLIE and even her body, and how more likely maggots were there, right? That's to say a fake fuck, yes, can't take that sort of thing. Oh my gosh, she's talking about maggots. Yes, there's no positivity in that, because even God or the universe created those maggots. And so to show some light in that, as in not a broad dim light or whatever, it's to say you bring the light all the way up and face even that, and close the casket while you're doing it. Because yeah, that don't make sense. What? Fuck off in that. Because real life will come and get you, let me tell you. Yes, it will. Some people, they want you to talk sweet and innocent. Talking sweet and innocent, well, maybe you can be more recognized. Well, I don't need to. I'm already recognized by Discovery. Why would I need 1 million on a coverage? I'm saying sitting on any YouTube, that is not going to work, and it don't make sense. Or Twitter, Instagram, I don't need 1 million followers in that. Because by the time you get done serving Discovery, you already got 1 million something, over 1 million something viewers in that on live TV. Not live on the coverage, but I'm saying a TV screen. I don't need that. I don't need friends. I don't need this and that. And that is not going to work. But yeah, that sort of thing will never work. Let me tell you. I'm just saying the aspect of facing real life. Come on, get it together, dear people. I just closed out pertaining to the uncle, if you're asking. Yes, that right there is a resolve. As in more than likely why he's not there, the uncle, and not saying, or even the mother. Because if you notice, the mother never came out of her mouth and said anything pointing back to the uncle. That shows you what she knows, as in more than likely she don't want him on the coverage. Because then they're going to have to plan everything he says, and that's too much work. And to be grieving is to say fuck off, and even that. Yeah, as in you don't know what that's going to lead to. That could lead to more issues pertaining to that mother and a grieving family over there. Putting the uncle on the camera. That's a no-go. So I just closed up on that. But yeah, I'm about to move further in this. Let me just look up something. I'm about to chill back on that. Let me check in on Oprah right quick. But yeah, I'm not one to close my mouth up. That's not gonna work. And that helps me get even more frustrated and possibly tongue-tied underneath that. That's not going to work. Because there's real live human beings up under this. Pertaining to, say, well, you worked for Oprah over there for the OWN network, and you did this and that, so you should in fact talk sweet. Fuck off in that. That is never going to happen. That's not a no-go. Well, that is a no-go. Excuse me. That's not gonna work. It's never going to work. Talking soft, because me saying stuff on this camera, I can in fact help Oprah lose some followers on her end, and maybe she should. As in where she done help people to say, fall in line with the positivity, and yet some of them is falling too much in line that they can't take real stuff that you say. That's a loser mindset. Come back to life and come all the way. And even that, come all the way back to life. As in where you're sitting so positive that nothing. There was an individual, let me tell you, there was an individual, she was in fact a Oprah Winfrey follower, right? Follower, supporter, fan, whatever you like to call it. And she was so zoned out, pertaining to not being able to face anything, that when I would say something that was real, she would just tune me all the way out on Facebook, to be specific, on Facebook. I'm like, okay, when your husband go and cheat on you, you're going to more likely be trying to hook up with somebody on their own network to fix your life. And even that, they're a fake fucking that. That's completely real. There's no faking in that. There ain't no faking in that, because you don't know what celebrity behind any of this celebrity, any of them that work behind the scenes that call people out fake fucking, yet you just don't see it on the TV screen. Anybody could be working in mass media on anything, saying all type of stuff like I say, and I say it to your face. I say things to people's face because they in fact need to hear that, right? And yet not everybody can do that because they got millions of followers and all the rest, right? That's not to say Oprah, that's to say any of these people that you're looking up to or looking behind or looking, whatever. Pertaining to any of that, and you're saying, well, why do you talk like this? Why do you talk like this? And yet, Oprah and everybody else, they talk like sweet like this, because that's a package as well. That's funny. That's completely funny, and it needs to be said, as in called out, as in there's a real life under all this Hollywood stuff. It has to be, as in who's putting shows together and all that other stuff. That's real people. When you hear people say, well, I said this before, didn't I, in one of my other videos, when people walk up to celebrities and they're not the nicest, or when they say, well, Oprah, she wasn't the nicest to such and such, because that's in fact real life. Don't get so carried away on the positivity tip pertaining to, oh, let me follow this celebrity, she has billions of followers and all this other stuff, and yet she just seems so sweet. And then when you meet her in person, she could be nastier than the nastiest, right? Nastiest more than some of them people, possibly more nasty, being mean than some of those people sitting in a jail cell. And you're like, well, how could that person be that mean and nasty with that? And then some people go off and cry because somebody was so mean and nasty. Well, if you were willing to face real life pertaining to that was a real life individual, that's why that's not gonna work on my stuff. That's not gonna work on my panel over here. As in no drapes involved in that. After somebody done shed some tears or something crazy to how I say stuff on this screen. That ain't gonna work. I mean I was in utter complete shock myself. Oh, that's my video right there, that cremation process. I just was going to go through some of JHOLIE stuff, right? But I was trying to see, how are you on somebody's anything, watching any celebrity, and because they're so positive you want to be that too? That's not to say that that's a gimmick what they're selling you. They're in fact selling you hope. But on top of that, hope is to in fact transpire into some real life over time. As in face your own and quit running away from it. You would not even believe how many individuals try to put positivity to their world, as in running away, facing what is in fact there, as in what is going all around them. Pertaining to even the mystery of where children such as JHOLIE, how adorable she looks in her photos, how even she went missing. People are not trying to face that. They don't want anybody to break their positivity mode. That's why it's there. When I'm saying you can be positive. I myself am a very positive individual, despite because see, look, when I think with logic and reasoning. I don't think with emotion unless I get angry. There's two emotions that come in me. Some people don't know that in a friendship when they want to be friends. There's two emotions that I have, and I consider logic and reasoning being one of them, despite it not being one. One emotion that I have all day, 24 hours a day, is in fact logic and reasoning, and it's not an emotion, no. The other one is pure anger. Those two emotions. I don't have nothing else. I really don't have sadness unless it's, say, grieving over a child that I'm looking into their case and all that. I, in fact, will feel some sadness or some grief or some tears with that. But all them other emotions, I don't feel. It's almost like I'm dead myself. I possibly am dead, the walking dead, sitting here representing the dead, which is something, yes, I choose to do. Represent those where other people that can't face real life can't do. I can't do that. That is not gonna work. Let me look up somebody. I like to look up psychic Bill Phillips on his end. He's a real life psychic all the way. Some psychics ain't real. They just use stuff for a gimmick, as in trying to make a come up off of you, right? But there are in fact real life psychics, and he just happens to be one of them. Psychic Bill Phillips, check him out. I just want to see, because when it comes to him, why do I go? What is the intention of me being on Psychic Bill Phillips his Facebook every day? When I check in, he posts multiple times a day. That's to see the positivity. Yes, he in fact airs. Didn't I just speak about positivity? When you get a little bit of positivity. Yes, when you get a little bit of positivity and you just take that in for a little bit, right? You go about your day and you carry positivity with you, but then somewhere in that, you in fact got to meet real life. As in knowing what to pick up and what to put away as stuff is happening. Psychic Bill Phillips is very positive, let me tell you, and yet even he can't be positive 24 hours a day. That's not real. It says you must learn a new way to think before you can master a new way to be. Marianne Williamson. You must learn a new way to think before you can master a new way to be. He in fact had my fault. Psychic Bill Phillips has in fact yes, he's been aired, yes, pertaining to Dr. Phil. Yes, as an appearance, right? So check him out. This my dude. I had sent him some messages before, not on his Facebook, but you can send emails and all that other stuff pertaining to stuff. What does Psychic Bill Phillips deal with? He deals with connecting you to the dead, your beloved loved ones. He has a connection in that, as in a key link pertaining to when psychics are not real and certain individuals are. Psychic Bill Phillips is in fact a real psychic. A medium. Psychic, yes, he's a medium. When you cross over, you're being a live individual and you cross over and you meet your beloved loved ones in death. As in when he can, in fact, he's a vehicle. As in when he talked to spirit, some individuals, they don't believe in that, such as Christianity and all that other stuff. They say that that's a work of the enemy and stuff like that. I don't think that it is. I keep an open mind. I keep an open mind to various things, because that ain't gonna work either. That ain't gonna work at any time. I might could replay. I might could in fact lose something on my end. Oops, wait a minute. He's not a what was the one psychic name? I can't even think of her name. She died and people was cracking jokes on her. She came out speaking about Amanda Berry and all them pertaining to Cleveland, Ohio, when the kids came up missing and then they were discovered some years later, right? She was a well-known psychic, but people, when she died, they was like, well, she didn't predict her own death, did she? That's funny, yet it's not. It's in fact funny. She didn't predict her own, but yeah, with him, he somebody like him, because see, if I was to lose somebody and I fell in grieving tomorrow, and say somebody in my family come up missing, I in fact would want to get in contact with this man, psychic medium Bill Phillips. Yes, because he can point you to the direction of various things, and many people don't know that. To have the level of skill in which he does is to say he, yes, teamed up with Dr. Phil, which is why he was in fact on the show. You got to know certain things, as in being able to research and look people up and all that. I've been following this man precisely since around 2012, 2013. Was it 2000? I think it was 2012. Somewhere I stumbled along and came across, and I said, oh, I got to get in on this man, because his psychic readings is very precise, as in when he's standing there, he's a vehicle speaking, like I said already, crossing over, interacting with your loved one on the other end that has crossed over, that has met death. And then he's going to stand there holding a conversation with not only just them, but talking to you, telling you what your beloved loved one has said. Yes, despite them crossing over on the other side. That's the spirit world. Some people don't believe in the spirit world, and yet they should. The spirit world, it is in fact real. It exists. Let me tell you. And the stuff that he says is very, very highly precise. As in, I watched the man for myself with my own two eyes. I was in shock. And not only that, the audience, because he did that on Dr. Phil, but he has his own playground of what he does with that. There's no fakery in what he does, is what I'm trying to spell out to you. There's none. None, because some of the family members, they be so heartbroken about time he get done telling them what their loved one has said. And remember to stand there on camera or anywhere and tell a loved one, yes, a live loved one, what the dead loved one of yours has said, is to know that that dead loved one, as well as that person that's still alive that was left behind, such as a JHOLIE's twin, right, or something like that got left behind in the family, right, is to know that the individual that have died, they know information in death that they might have shared with that other person that's still alive. The communication aspect. So say if JHOLIE died, right, and say she crosses over, and she did, right, she's at rest, she crossed over, right, and so her twin being left behind, there's certain things, certain details that only JHOLIE and her twin would know between one another, as in the secrets they shared, and yet they might not have shared with mommy and daddy, and possibly not even with the stepfather or the uncle or anybody else, just those two that they shared, the close connection and them sharing secrets. The twin of JHOLIE could possibly reach out to him, have a reading, whether in a group of people or her have a reading by himself, because he does that private readings where it could just be you and him. And even on Skype, he does it where you contact with him. Even if she was to let him know the story, the situation, he will be able to know, as in look it up himself and say, okay, I heard about your story, your sister, or whatever the secrets that the twin, JHOLIE's twin, shared between JHOLIE. He can in fact read it back to her, as in JHOLIE's twin that's still alive. That's to show you how real this man is. His gift, I'm saying, from the spirit world of the God universe that gifted him. So I don't believe none of that is a curse. I can never believe that. Because if JHOLIE's twin knew certain things about JHOLIE, as in when she might have been sneaking out or doing this and that in secrecy, and say only her and JHOLIE's twin knew about that, the psychic himself, Bill Phillips, would be able to come out and tell JHOLIE's twin to her face certain information that you and I would never even know, and possibly the mother and father wouldn't even know, and yet JHOLIE's twin would. Some people would doubt that, and yet that's real. That's a science. There's no Satan up under that. No Satanism up under that. He's very real. Bill Phillips is completely real. He would have JHOLIE's twin completely bawling out in tears. Because remember, twins keep secrets, and yet now all the time. And yet I'm sensing somewhere in between these two sisters, they more than likely have shared some secrets that mommy and daddy didn't know about. But if he get there and he get to talking to JHOLIE's twin alone or something, and read her out what JHOLIE has told him or whatnot, and him connecting, diving more deeper into the spirit world to connect with JHOLIE's spirit, is to say he's going to in fact, yes, be told by JHOLIE herself, and possibly might even tell him who the killer is. That's the scary part about that. It's very precise. It's completely precise with that. Let me look up something right quick. Some people can't take that. I'm saying that they're too Christian enough they're too Christian enough to not be able to take a psychic Bill Phillips calling him the devil and everything else until somebody else of theirs drop dead. And then they'll in fact want to connect with somebody like him in a heartbeat. That's all I'm trying to say. They'll say, well, I can't take all that. He's of the devil. But then as soon as somebody drop dead on their end, they're like, oh, he connects with dead. They'll get desperate like a crack addict or something to try to see and have a private reading with him just so that they can talk to their loved ones. It helps to keep an open mind. And it helps to stay positive, but it helps not to be so positive as in where you want to put everything away as in not being able to see it. Getting rid of it because it's too lifeless for you to endure. That's not gonna work. It ain't never gonna work. JHOLIE, her cute little adorable self. She was. Them eyebrows, I wonder if mommy had her get them eyebrows right, because they was standing all the way correct. Her eyebrows. She had them arched specifically. I don't even get into that type of thing. Eyebrows and all the rest. And yet the way her eyebrows was arched. I pay attention to a lot of things in which I don't say. But yeah, I can't be sitting nowhere with no prissy girls, right? Not JHOLIE and her sister, not her twin. When I speak about stuff, I'm speaking about people that want to come hang out with me, and yet they can't take my mouth. I wonder why. Because I tell them about theyself, they should. But yeah, her eyebrows, the way that they're arched specifically, precise like that, is to say, who knows in that. I'm saying mama or somebody possibly had her eyebrows did, because even up in the photo, you can tell her eyebrows are somewhat arched. They completely arched. Up in that top one right there. Hold on. That hair and makeup ain't my thing. And never will it be. But one thing I do, because see, I've always had an obsession with faces. Did I say that before? Did I say that in my other video? How I have always had an obsession with faces. Not prettiness, no. Just faces pertaining to, say, where you can market something and hit a target. Yes, a target audience with a face. Pertaining to mass media marketing and all that other stuff, and you're reading the face. Faces has its own stories and all that other stuff, but it also delves in the realm of marketing. It does. But this right here is etched out completely. Somebody, mama or somebody had some inspiration with that, as in her eyebrows. I wonder where she was going to get them done. I do. I'm too manly for all that, is what I'm trying to say, right? I am. I'm too manly, but I do pay attention. Let me look up some stuff right quick. I'm gonna have to get me a terabyte or something. I got all type of devices. Didn't I say that? But that terabyte on my end would work, because my external, man, when I buy, let me tell you, when I buy gigabytes, when I buy gigabytes, I go hard. I go all the way in the paint and some. I want my hard drive to be as big as a Chevy. I do. That way I can fit it all the way in. If you got what I'm saying, right? Pertaining into what needs to be stored. Like how are you gonna be doing stuff and doing it properly, and you're working with a little bitty flash drive? 1 gigabyte or that's not gonna work. When I do business or any type of whatever, I gotta at least come with a terabyte. I gotta come with at least a 500 gigabyte. That's just the way that I do stuff. Did I say that on? I think I did say that on Twitter. I think I did, when I was speaking about Janet Jackson pertaining to when you do stuff. mass media, them kids over there and them wanting to do whatever, right? Because they follow behind Janet a lot. And I was like, you gotta always, when it comes to stuff like that, have something pertaining to the upload. When you do stuff, having photos and you're having stuff drafted out neatly, as in where something is going to be contained in a storage on a hard drive, and you're naming stuff and naming it specific, as in you're filing stuff away. That's just common sense. That only makes common sense. A brilliant mind will tell you that. When I was saying to them, well, when you do this or when you do that pertaining to a celebrity or wanting to work for them or you wanting to whatever for them, right? There's this type of way to file stuff. File it and file it neatly. Should I go through my cabin drawer? I think that might in fact need to take place. Let me look in this right quick. My files. I hide when you have stuff there. This ain't completely up to Q, because see, on this my hard drive I got some stuff where stuff is actually in various places, right? As in where I store stuff and stuff like that, right? But you do in fact want to have some neatness in the labeling aspect. That just is only right. Did I show this photo where I was saying that girl where I stated that I was gonna show? I showed my bracelet before. Let me move this over. This gotta come smaller. Hold on. So that you can see it. When I file stuff, there has to be an organization system. That is not gonna work to just say, I mean, you try to label it just enough where you can. This is just 1 gigabyte. I mean, not one gigabyte. This is just one hard drive, right? See where it say my passport? It's only one hard drive, right? And yet I got multiple ones. Because I had multiple hard drives is to in fact stay up on the game, your game. And not falling off. Because see, at any time, this hard drive could more than likely crash out. As in stall out, then what you gonna do? You ain't got no backup. I carry backup after backup after backup on top of backup. And possibly a backing behind that is in the ass. As in where you sit when you're doing it. But yeah, you gotta keep something organized. Because otherwise that's no. That's in fact Janet Jackson's dancer. If you don't know, if you're questioning, well, who? I'm right there. One of my other OGs right there. A player. I won't say her name. And then, yeah, one of Janet Jackson's dancers. That's an old photo I showed over and over to people. But, yes, the filing system. Get you a good gigabyte. When I was saying that, get a 500 gigabyte. Get the gigabyte as high as you can go. Yes, high. And then the filing system, see this Aviva brand? That's in fact my brand. And then when I go in, there's certain things I kept this out. All this stuff right here that's out, they're not in folders, but I usually like to keep all my stuff filed away in folders. I like to do that because that helps with the abstraction. That's it, to be quick on the feet, because see, industry, anything is to move quickly, right? I got this hard drive, this pertaining to the missing children and all the other stuff, and yeah, you will have another gigabyte plugged in somewhere, and that pertains to something else, right? To keep stuff divided sometimes, I'm saying, pertaining to that. I put some of my personal stuff in with some of this, the files and stuff like that, but there's just a way of, I don't know. The neat process. That's me right there. Shouts out to a player. I gotta show myself off in this as well. There ain't no that's not gonna work. I was gonna make a video pertaining to who I actually am sitting behind this camera. What is that? Oh, that's what I'm on right now. that I was like, what is that? When it's moving, I can tell what it is. Asia Degree. Asia Degree has her own. When I got it titled Asia Basics, right there, it says Asia Basics. because these are basic photos in which I found online that in fact goes in with her case. And this all has to go together too, because when I go to upload these photos, they have to go in the video. Just like how Tyler Perry photo is sitting there, other individuals' photos are flashing. All this goes together. So you keep it together bundled like this. This is the stuff that I'm talking about is in fact boring, I know, and it should, because to get too boring and dry on my end, despite me throwing comedy in sometimes, is to get rid of haters, as in a throw them off field, get rid of them, which is what I love to do. I like to do that sometimes, go dry, to get rid of them, as in they ain't gonna want to sit around in this, as in what I'm trying to say in this. These photos right here, because look, let me pull this out. Asia Degree. That's in fact her photo, right? But to edit it down pertaining to missing children videos and all that other stuff is to stamp them. Stamp them. I did this myself. Stamping the photo with the label in itself, all its own. All its own. Remember I mentioned Oprah Winfrey pertaining to own, and even Oprah Winfrey has in fact shedded light on this young child's story, right? She has. Oprah Winfrey on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Yes, so you stamp something with its own as you're doing it. The process. These all have to be labeled. There's no way for me to make 50 million videos pertaining to Asia Degree and then set the video and then just have my face shot. That's not gonna work. And then set just a beginning photo there, as in the opening, as in you're having one photo like this and then you're making multiple videos and uploading them on YouTube, and then people going past saying, well, I think I just seen that, because nothing has changed. If I make a video pertaining to, okay, did Asia Degree have a baby? Did Asia Degree have a babysitter? Then I in fact may want to label that with AA. Highest label AA. Because then I might come up behind that video with another video and make another video pertaining to the shovel and the off-road. So I in fact want to make that video, yes, AB. And then I might want to come along and question her parents and then make another, yes, upload that and put AC. You don't want to have multiple videos of how I'm doing stuff. I'm doing this different than the majority of people are doing it on YouTube, making millions of videos, and then you got the child's same photo. Same photo is not gonna work unless you label it differently. All ties in. It's all the same story, right? Yes, AH, HI, AJ, AK, AL, AM, AN. That would be like almost like a DVD. How you have a DVD, right? And you label stuff, or how you have an album or something like that. I like to keep stuff in order, on file and in order, because that helps me keep up with the imprint pertaining to what I'm doing. Like there's no fun in this, as in the layout or even Asia's photo. That in fact comes from findingasia.com. If you don't know where that is, go look for it, as in run off with that, as in find it. Findingasia.blog.com, right, pertaining to her disappearance. And yet somebody might say, well, those photo is boring because it's just the same one. Well, it needs to be the same one. It in fact needs to stay the same, because I'm talking about the same case. And not only that, I'm dragging her face with it, but I'm dragging the same story, but I'm just adding different elements in pertaining to me questioning different elements that stood out to me, which wasn't there, as in not seen on YouTube. So to leave something the same is to do that, but dress it with something else, and that's by stamping it with some letters that are different, and yet they're organized, an organized system. That's what I did with these. These are in fact supposed to, the more I go, like I said, well, I'm done with Asia Degree case, maybe or maybe not. I might in fact, hell, next year want to question more into that, and then in place of me using Discovery as I already do as a thumbnail, is to use these where I printed them up myself. But yeah, these are all from the Google. search right here. Cause I need those to spin. I need those to spin up above. When the falling fucker his end, the loser that left, that told me to don't. Why you gotta have whatever? Because I need to. Don't holler nothing at that face right there. That's in fact mine. You might in fact get stabbed. You may not. Who knows? Coming at me all like that. I'm just saying. Don't do it. That ain't gonna work. These was the opening videos. The ABC, this is how I first got started. I went completely basic. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That all goes together. Because I don't like to be looking at something and I'm looking at it, right? And then it looks like this, right? But then next thing you know, the layer or the layout is different, pertaining to a missing person or a missing child, right? Or even if it's my own, how I got my face right here, right? It could be a song, an album, or anything, or a project or something that say I'm continually going, as it's a continuous. For me, that has to stay the same. I'm too anal about that stuff, that type of stuff, as in what needs to keep in order and what doesn't. Relisha Rudd, the same thing. Main photo for Relisha Rudd, right? And I'm sure individuals have saw that. I had Relisha Rudd right there. That's in fact her photo. But then after I got into that, then I had to, for everything that it's a numbering system again. For every type of question I asked, when I questioned, well, who was Irving Rudd? Was Khalil Tatum the child's father, or was Irving Rudd? That's to say I got to stamp it with the numbering system, despite it being a letter. I like letters better than numbering. Oh, let me go back. Let me pause. Let me stay on this and not go back. Why? Let me tell you, first off, the numbering and all that organization is good, right? But yeah, this helps keep it up. Because what that's going to do is going to show the same photo even in the YouTube search. A person will see that same photo and be like, man, why is this 50 million photos of the same photo? Because not only is that to draw you to my channel, though I'm not trying to have millions of followers on here. No, I'm not, right? Because I can't deal with lame, loser, dumb fucks, right? I can't deal with those that can't face real life. But that's to in fact draw in that the child is missing. It's doing it one way, yes, it is, and yet not, right? I do things multiple ways. But let me go back to Asia Degrees right quick. When I did hers, the reason why too, because see this, I was gonna do the numbering system too, but see this right here, how this is in fact a envelope. That's an envelope, right? That's basically saying for Asia to come home. That's what that spills out. That's a collage that was designed by somebody, right? You can see the name right there, who it was designed by. But to leave home at that time is to say you disappeared, right? And yet people in fact want you to come home. They want to know, we all want to know, the public yet, right? And so the answer back in that, despite me not knowing where the child is for me to reply all the way somewhat, pertaining to trying to figure out, as in to locate the identity of the individual who could have did what, and filling in the gaps while you're doing it. That's a creative end on my end of me doing it like that. That's the reason why I did it like that. The AAAB, because I said it right on top of the envelope. You're trying to fill in something to see. Not only that, you're feeding the Finding Asia Degree blog over there, as in her question and trying to see, because she's delved deep, right? But for me, I'm trying to delve even deeper in that, trying to go up underneath all to see. And so to put out a letter like that is to feed into the envelope, to try to say what could have happened, because that's trying to bring closure to a situation. Even if FBI or none of us ever figure it out, you just want to work your way somewhat to see. I have all type of reasons and ways of what I do and how I do. That's me as well. Don't get too obsessed with that. You never know. I might in fact end up on Discovery. Dear Lieutenant Joe Kenda, he might in fact be solving my case by the time I get done on a hater's head. That's me again. And my Discovery logo. That's me again. In a different angle. That's me trying to fix the light. Let me go back. I just wanted to show certain things. How I drop it in. I don't think I dropped that photo in. But I do be dropping photos in. These photos I in fact dropped in the flashing. You know what? Many people, did I say that many people in fact disagree about Madea? I'm seeing there's been many Oprah followers that have in fact turned away from her because she have in fact presented Madea on the OWN network. To say somebody was fake from the beginning is to say. I'm saying there's differences in taste, right? I can get gangster myself depending on the situation. As in my mouth. That's a mouse trap to be specific, right? But pertaining to the situation is to say, just because you watch somebody and you follow somebody is to say they're not going to have the same exact taste as you. That's a carbon copy. Who didn't know that? As in the fake fucks. Many of them that have followed Oprah Winfrey and possibly even still there today. You just don't know, right? But I'm saying when she went to endorse Obama, didn't I say that? Or did I not say that on camera? When Oprah went to endorse Obama, many of the fake fucks that were followers of Oprah in fact fell away from her. As in left. How fake is that? Because to say you got two different flavors is to say, okay, well, chew where and when, right? But that's to say allow people to chew where they choose, right? That's not saying just because she got with her own kind, such as somebody that looked like her, Obama, that's not to say that she's turning away against white people. That's been Oprah's large percentage of followers to begin with. Older white women, right? And yet sometimes those individuals can in fact be fake fucks. Not all of them know. Not all of them know. I'm just saying when they say, well, Oprah what? She did whatever for Obama? Because there's more to that. There's more to that. That's not to say that Oprah is the man's best friend, Obama's best friend. That's to say that she has more pull than he does. Pertaining to power and all the rest. The Oprah effect is in fact real. Oprah effect. If you don't know what it is, look it up. The Oprah effect is in fact real. So to be an Oprah and say go off and say you want to go work somewhere in Chicago or do something, and then you got Obama that hits the scene later, is to say you're going to have to in fact use your resources as in help some individual that don't have as much power than you as in the gang. And what she did. People do it all the time in politics and not just Oprah. I'm saying, and yet people have turned away. That shows that they were in fact loser, fake fuck mindsets to begin with. Oprah bet not watch this. Oprah, you bet not watch this, Oprah. Hey, there's no loose strings on that, and yes it is. Yet it is. I just told people that can be fake, standing in Oprah's face trying to get an autograph and all this other stuff, possibly stabbing her in her back as soon as she endorsed Obama. Because see, people look too much at race, and yet to be an Oprah Winfrey is to say she wasn't completely looking at race from the beginning. Because to have that many older white women watching you and you serving them, being a celebrity, is to say you cared for those individuals, and yet to show that they don't care for you after they done dropped off like flies and possibly dropped dead and elderly, right? It's to say they weren't there for your greatest intention. They were more than likely there just to gain something. Trust and believe many people that was watching the Oprah Winfrey show was not there for her. They was there to try to gain something. I'm saying pertaining to the gifts and all the rest that she gave away. Let me close my mouth about that. When people give stuff away, such as gifts, and you're doing nice things for things, fake fucks a lot of times are drawn to you. And not only that, they turn away from you as soon as you make a decision, such as endorsing somebody that doesn't have as much power and pull as you do. Her endorsing Obama. Right? I'm just saying where fakeness comes in. Which is why I can never speak like a Oprah Winfrey herself. That's the love of my life. Dear love. She is. But to keep it and call it on the calling card, as in saying what could be said, even with a serial killer up above my head, is to say. Who can be fake and who can be real, and even that. Even your followers, where they walk away when you start saying things. When many white folks in fact turned away, they were supporters of Oprah, but when she came out and said they just need to die, they're marinated in whatever, they just need to die. Those sort of individuals, she wasn't talking about all white people. No, she was not. She were in fact talking about those people that will come lynch you and I, whoever, possibly Jolie's mom or twin, the one left behind, pertaining to individuals that can't handle their racism and bigotry. She's not speaking about the average everyday going to work citizen, a white individual that's going to work and they're an upright citizen that have respect for people of color. Because remember, some of those individuals stood in line to fight with Martin Luther King. They helped fight with that for freedom and all that other stuff. She's not saying them. In that video when they was saying, I'm just about to answer back. I am. With no Oprah on this time stamp. Dear God. Where's that video at? Because see, that needs to be said. Because if it's not said, then it's not the white individuals. People get stuff mixed up when they say, well, Oprah hates white people. No, she doesn't. She's speaking about the bigots that will come out in the middle of the night and just lynch you for no reason. Those type of people, in fact, need to die. Because to be anywhere, just walk to be walking anywhere, standing out in public freely, and somebody just come up and lynch you, as in put you in the back of a pickup truck and lynch you off because you're black or Chinese or Asian, is to say them people, in fact, do need to die. That's like what I said, what the serial killers need to die. Somebody made this video, Oprah, white people have to die. They were trying to mislead you in that. She did not say all white people need to die. No, she didn't. She was speaking on them individuals that they're bigots, and they will lynch you for no reason. And possibly lynch you because you walked out the four walls of your house and just was randomly walking in the middle of the street. Them sort of thing happen to even missing people, such as a missing children or missing child, such as like a Asia Degree or JHOLIE MOUSSA, where they were just walking around and some random bigot lynched them and then just left them somewhere in some leaves. That's what she was saying right there. She's speaking on them because remember, Oprah works around all type of white people that she in fact got love for, and the Jews that own everything. The Jews run and operate everything. Yes, we know that sort of thing, right? Some of them can be racist as well, and they try to, yes, certain people try to use the ADL to cover up their stuff. If you don't know what the ADL, look it up. You do have Jews, in fact, that do be racist, right? But not all of them. Some of them is in fact sweet loving, and they have in fact helped, yes, Martin Luther King during the fighting for freedom. Not just black folks, but for Jews as well, right? But that's not gonna that ain't gonna. They not only the bigots need to die off, right? Because see, a bigot, you would want to kill them off too, because it could be a white man or woman that look like them that are for the rights and freedoms for people of color, and yet a bigot would even kill his own kind just because they feel that, oh, what, you're white like me and you are for the freedoms and rights for people of color, so let me kill you off. They kill their own kind sometimes, just like black people kill their own kind for no reason, as in no reason behind it. I would in fact kill a serial killer, white or black. Let me tell you, there's no laughter in that. But to just be killing somebody because of a race, that just is so stupid and petty. I just answered back on that. But yeah, there was follows of Oprah that I could see through that, as in pertaining to before she said that, and she was speaking on Obama, how she liked it Obama, how many older white women and some other individuals they turned against her, right? That's to not say that it was race involved. It was partially, but it's to say more than likely those people was not for Oprah's best intention from beginning. Just because somebody was brown like Oprah does not mean that she was going against her own following, them being majority of white women. No. But those sort of individuals that turned against her, that's to say that they were not for the best interest of Oprah. No. Because once you start being an Oprah, giving out gifts to people, and then they start turning away for whatever reason, is to say, what do you have? Some users and possibly abusers if you don't watch it back. And even that. Why is my wife sitting there? I said before to have somebody call her on the phone. I'm saying she got her tongue all the way out, which is why Jolie possibly practiced that sort of thing, right? But that's my new love right there. It helps to say Jolie's mom. Not Jolie and her twin. But why she got her tongue, she better put it all the way down. Not down there, but I'm just saying, dear mom, she's being herself. But my goodness, people, the things. I pay attention to various things. Let me tell you. What is on this man's shirt? I do. This right here is a chill session. I think I'm going to title this video that Jolie's uncle in a chill session. What? If they looking for professionalism, tell them they better go tune into Discovery and the OWN network and all the rest, because that is not here. That is not what you're going to search and find here. No time of the day, and even that. I'm saying. I don't have time for any of that. Let me drop down back to where I was saying stuff. Because, see, to be professional is to have your work in order, right? It is. It's to have your work in order. And yet, sometimes I ain't got time for that either. That extra, well, let me make sure this is like this, and let me make sure whatever, because if I don't, then, you know, all my followers they can just fall off in that. If I ain't got this right, then they might leave me. Well, maybe they need to be left, and maybe I need to be left, right? That was so funny to me. I watch so much investigation Discovery Channel. I can kill you and make it look like the Easter Bunny did it. That's a joke, and yet it's not, and yet it is, right? But the things that you find pertaining to a search and recover pertaining to Discovery. Women who kill, that's being aired. Yes, it is right now. Deadly Women is in fact being aired on Investigation Discovery. Unsolved murders and mysteries and crimes. And Lieutenant Joe Kenda, you see his face right there? That's my dude. Shouts out to a player, Lieutenant Joe Kenda. I mentioned his name how many times? We might, in fact, me and Lieutenant Joe Kenda might in fact be blood. You don't know. We just got different skin tones because we do things the same, slightly, somewhat. Solving crime. We might in fact, shouts out to Kenda. We might in fact be blood relatives. He might be my daddy. You don't know. Lieutenant Joe Kenda. Imagine if Lieutenant Joe Kenda was my daddy and I never even said. Let me check my race, as in the DNA. Because I always get mistaken as being a Puerto Rican, and I don't know that is. I don't know why that is. Even Puerto Ricans, because my anger level, how I be going off and flipping off, my anger gives it away each time, and yet I'm not Puerto Rican at all. I'm not. I just look this way. And possibly all the rest. Let's go up right quick. I'm going through some files. I'm letting you see that. Let me open this up. Oh. Let me roll down the windows on the hill. That is so funny. Shouts out to Discovery. Let's just go through some stuff. Yeah, because some people cannot in fact sit on camera, right? And yet I can for hours on end, right? They can't because there's a fear in that. There's not a willingness to let go on camera. When I tell people, well, what are you doing with that? What are you gonna do with this or that, right? pertaining to various things, right? And I asked them, and they just they can't do it, right? It's not in them to do it. I got files of all kind. Let me pull this. I'm saying on my hard drive, I got stuff pertaining to all type of people. What's up with Charlie Mack? Charlie Mack in the house. That's our radio. You don't know if you don't know. Now you know. Shouts out to a player on the phone, Mac. Many people don't know who Charlie Mack is. If you never have actually existed in the same area, environment, you wouldn't know. But yeah, some people, they can't. When I be asking, well, when are you gonna do this? You've been saying that you were gonna do this and that forever, and yet you still haven't did it on camera. Cause people be in fact uncomfortable sitting on the camera, playing around on the camera. That's one of my old. That's in fact one of my old from my. It's a dude on here. I can't hardly hear myself. It's a dude on my YouTube. He remembered me from back in the day when I used to be clowning on YouTube. I said before I done had multiple YouTube accounts. I like to do stuff my way, right? Singing. He out there shouts out. He gonna see this. That's too why I'm posting it, because it's crazy. He gonna follow on that, follow back on that, possibly make a reply video.
Almost didn't make the trip. We testing pyramids of the mannequins, talking about beautiful fragrances. Clip thoughts, don't touch a switch. Flicking your flame, grab the pipe if you's a snitch. Get compacted, the trunk I want a visitor drop. Airplanes out to lunch, what you crying for? My feet are west, look so lonely since I meet us. No reason to feel this thing, catch me fixing your pedals. Pocahontas, never need a chain gang. Chain smoke cigarillos like it's my first name. Harbor crashing borders like Bush Hurricane. Inclination of weed, whispering again. I have a feeling that the way you got me feeling that you ain't gonna be feeling your legs. Time's up, good luck. Jeopardy, treasury, gone, mystery. Lead the blinds in the sights. Team 512, the penitentiary. Slick as butter, wolf, finesse, Zolo, and CC creaming corny wheats in the barrel, spinning ballers of thunder. Shut up, you're messing up my high. A pretty box of fox, Cadillac and your strolls. I'll be your pimp, you be my hoe. I'm the illest female species rocking strolls.
Shouts out to Dill. He on here when we used to be playing around. That's so crazy how he found me on YouTube. That is so crazy. It's a very, very small world. But not only that, on top of that, how I be posting stuff all across Google, right? That is off the hook. How he said he came across me in the Google search, right? I'm on Hollywood, baby. And that's so weird when I said, did anybody say here when I said CC? That is so strange. I'm telling you, it's a small world, because it's a CC on here pertaining to these videos, many of them that I'm making, and her asking me certain things to question those. But I was talking to a CC years back. Let me rewind back on the tape. While I was rapping, I said CC, and yet this was recorded back in 2009 or 2010. Yes, it was, but I said CC. It's a small world after all. Watch.
Got me feeling that you ain't gonna be feeling your legs. Time's up, good luck. Jeopardy, treasury, gone, mystery. Lead the blinds in the sights. Team 512.
Right here. Hold up.
Slick as butter, wolf, finesse,
right here.
Solo, and CC creaming corny wheats in the barrel, spinning ballers of thunder.
That is so crazy. I wonder if it's the same CC. I don't think so. But yeah, YouTube is my playground, right? I'm going to do whatever I want to do, how I like to do it. Tell Discovery I said sit down. I'm saying, and even that, how you do stuff. And the thing that, because there's a character in that. And I don't mean a backstab. There's a character as in how you present yourself on a camera. There's a whatever, right? But if you're looking for some live, serious, professional, whatever, right? Won't you tune in to CNN or Fox? And I said that already, or Discovery. When I'm on here, I do what I do any time of day. That's just me, because I run this and they don't. Oh, I run this and they don't. So pertaining to even that, I do anything can slip out. See how that body just slipped out on that video? I ain't editing nothing. So don't ask. I'm saying, but that's not gonna work. That's completely not going to work, because see, some people get on their stuff, right? They record, and I said that how many times, and they start editing out and all this other stuff pertaining to what they don't want who to see and what they don't want, whatever, right? But me being the mischief in which I stand, I'm a delivery all its own. Oh, hold up, wait a minute. Because see, when I'm on here, when I get to looking through my other stuff and all this and this and that, you never know what I might find. You never know what I might run into, as in slip into. It could be a naked body by accident. You don't know. And yet to be a real life individual is to just see that sort of thing without editing it out. Society is becoming too politically correct, as in it's being overdone, where even some of these fake fucks can't, yes, face real life, but on top of that, they can't, I don't know, their brain cells are dead or killed off or something. I don't know what that, the political correctness of everything has to be soft. Nothing can be faced. Seriously? You really serious about that? This individual, when I had made a photo and passed it around on social media, when I was like, man, she kind of looked like she could be Asia Degree growing up, right? That's why it's titled Asia Degrees Look-alike. Well, Asia's look-alike, right? She looks like Asia somewhat like how Asia would grow up and look. There's another photo on here. Let me see if I can find that. Well, yeah, because I in fact made that. When I was like, what? She looked like somewhat. When you start going into delving in, not completely, but almost. So Asia Degree. That's who she kind of looked like somewhat, but not completely. She does. Kinda. When you look at the eyes, the eyebrows, you can tell the eyebrows have been arched. Right? The nose is somewhat similar. The teeth are gapped. Hold on, let me move that over. I gotta move this up or down because some of this stuff is in my way. Both of the teeth are gapped. Because see, FBI and all that, they try to get specific enough, as in close enough to see how like somebody would look. And yet this is almost close. This girl, her name is Lynette, and she's in fact homeless. And yet I don't think that's Asia Degree, no. But they look how everybody has a twin. Because just because her nose looks a little bit more outward expanded, that could in fact be real, as in a real Asia Degree, right? As in a lifelike individual, that could in fact be her, right? We just don't know, right? I keep sensing Asia Degree is dead, and I said that how many times? But FBI and all them, when they make up these age progression photos, sometimes they can't really get real specific, because remember, they're drafting something based off how a human would somewhat look. Not precisely, but they try to get precise almost there, and yet you can't. Because a human being is not the same as in a photo. No, not exactly. So I was like, wait a minute, is that Asia? Am I going to have to call Asia on the phone? What is happening with this girl? I was tracking even on that. Look at the photo. They look almost the lips aspect, because once she goes to smile, Lynette, that's her name. When she goes to smile, open up her mouth, her lips are more emphatically going to come up, and they're going to be more like this. The thing that make these two individuals look different It's the eyebrows. And the head somewhat, but remember the FBI police, whoever they did this age progression photo, the advancement, which means the head more than likely would be more expand like this head, as in when she gotten older, or maybe not. Who's to say? Because once again, age progression photos are not completely precise, and yet they somewhat are. The percentages could be off even in the head level, how expanded it is. That could in fact be Asia Degree sitting right there, and maybe not. Who knows, right? It could. I'm just saying. We don't even know. I don't even know. But I'm gonna put this there just so you can see it. That in fact needs to be recognized. Dear call out on my end, as in when I'm able to see stuff where other people ain't. Because more than likely this individual was walking all in public and still is, and driving. She sleeps in and out of her car. She's homeless, to be in fact. But pertaining to that is to say, you don't know who she is fully. How the hell I don't even know who she is fully, but I did see that when I was going through some YouTube videos, and I said, nope, pause. I ain't just saved that photo, I saved multiple ones and stamped it, and all the rest pertaining to Twitter and all, where that sort of thing you share, right, and put it out. But they're not the same person, no. They just look that way. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, I think that's all to be said about that. I think I'm gonna make another video, a chill back video, chilling, right? Before I end this out, let me look at something very quick. Where's that drawer at? It's files for days, let me tell you. I don't think it's on this hard drive. It might not even be on here. I thought it was. Oh, my niece. Those are old. It ain't on here. Can't wait to get that terabyte, boy, I tell you. It's on out from there on in. But yeah. I'm about to make another video. I'm about to make another video and chill on the set and see what all I go through. I don't really, yeah. Some stuff need to be planned, and yet some stuff don't, right? Cause a chill back on a camera is to show how human you are in it, and how human you can be in it. It ain't even on here. That's a round one. Next video comes next. Hopefully I don't mix these two videos. I have did that before. Titled one video with the wrong thing and this end with the wrong thing, and you're like, what in the world? I done put the wrong child on the wrong child. This stuff does happen. So I'm gonna have to separate even these two videos. But yeah, we're on discovery.com. Hello. We're in fact on discovery.com, where you can find all the famous shows and famous representatives. I myself being one of them, and that's a joke, and yet it's not. Hell, to be famous when you're not is to call it out. And don't stand still when you're doing it. These are all the TV shows in which is recommended to you. Discovery.com. Naked and Afraid and some sharks. How's that for a mortician? Unlocked episodes, you can find those on the reload. The reload means to not reload a gun. It means to in fact come here, be drawn here, tune in, and all the rest. As in when you come back to discovery.com on top of discovery.com and all the other stuff, is to find out that when you come back, something like that. Something like that, when you come back, is to be reloaded, as in when you're gonna find out when you come here. Should that be said in Spanish or not? Maybe the closed captioning should be left off in that. I don't know. But yes, these are all the shows in which you can find, as in a greeter, and I don't mean Walmart or Sears. Possibly not even Save a Lot. Is Save a Lot all around the U.S.? I might need to find out about that. Diesel Brothers. Yes, some goods for you. So I think that's all to be said for now. I will be, in fact, back on the next video. The show schedule and the preview, as well as the newsletter, resides below. And if you don't know, hello on that. I'm just saying, it's real in that, let me tell you. So yeah, I'm gonna be back, and I'm gone in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in a delivery truck. And I don't mean pizza. I don't. I'll be back, and I'm gone.